And hello, peoples. Oh, the horn got in the way.
Oh, God.
And two. Here we go.
Welcome to a Cigar Hustle podcast.
That's it.
And it says Premium Cigars, Unfiltered Opinions, and Con Monday. Okay, welcome to Cigar Hustle podcast. Premium Cigars, Unfiltered Opinions, and Conversations with No Boundaries. I'm your host, Mike, joined by co-host Blank, but now it's Alex from the Cigar Guys, the superior numero uno podcast of cigars in the world on all platforms, just absolutely dominating.
Most platforms.
Including Gregory.
Most platforms.
Sorry.
And in engineering, Phil McGuffey.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Star of the man-on-man adult film Spider Guy, I'll Show You the Way Home.
Also on Grindr.
Also on Grindr. From cigars, sports, and business to pop culture and the wildest headlines, if it's worth discussing, we're talking about it. No scripts, no safe spaces, just real perspectives, big laughs, and chaos at any moment. Settle in and welcome to a Cigar Hustlers podcast.
It's not easy, is it? It's a hard job you have there.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It doesn't, I'll misspell and I'll mess up every once in a while. But yeah. Are you saying that you think I'll do better than you, or
you're doing about as good as me?
You think so?
Yeah, for sure. I might have slightly more mistakes than you.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a slightly higher reading level than me.
Yeah.
Comprehension.
Like if I'm level 3, you're probably a 3.5. Mm-hmm. Comprehension, great word.
I mean, it's good to hear that you're only slightly delusional and not.
I think that if you're not delusional, then there's absolutely no way you're going to succeed in life.
That's fair.
Like, you're a delusional guy.
Yeah.
You behave in a delusional way.
Yeah.
But the results speak for themselves. And now you have all these crazy things going on that are making you wildly successful.
Just so much money.
So much money.
Wild.
Well, I said wildly successful. I didn't say it's so much money.
It is totally different.
It is still the cigar industry. So
yeah.
Let's calm down.
Let's tamper our expectations. On today's show, we go for a three-way and not the good kind.
I'm out.
Ever have your house tell you it was cold enough? Wait a second, this is old, isn't it? Then in the villages, make sure you're, oh boy, hold on, this is not
we're going to redo an episode?
Then in the villages, make sure you're clear with your sugar baby. This is all old stuff.
Great, Palmer.
But first, Mikey, how do we get some of that CHPOD swag?
Here we go. Palmer to the rescue.
Wait a second. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Let me just give me 1 second here. It looks like he just didn't fix the headline because the news in itself is correct.
Okay. Whew.
If not, we were going totally off the cuff here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's just happening. So, let's see. On today's show, now here's another one. Wait, here's another one. This is good. This is good stuff. This is fun. Hold on. On today's show, well, we did that already. And then it says, on today's show again.
Take 20.
Mike gets excited. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark, Florida style.
Oh.
Sophie, maybe it's supposed to say Sophie. Sophie makes a decision. And then in cigars, a new cigar, some shipping info, and the Mikey Ream job his dream place. Okay? But first, Palmer, bro.
I'm not going to blame your reading comprehension for this one.
Yeah,
I feel like I can
dude.
sense there's some craziness going on there.
But I mean, we asked a lot. We asked a lot for him, to be fair. I'm gonna go disclaimer on this real quick and say, he tried his best to have some shows punched in while he's out of town. So he launched Monday's show Sunday morning, which was atrocious. So we're gonna deal with this together.
He's on Nicaragua time.
Yeah,
let's give him a break.
He is Nicaraguan. He is operating as the culture goes. So there's gonna be some misspellings. There's gonna be some alleged inaccuracies, and we're just gonna deal with it. But first,
oh God,
Phil, how do we get some of that CHPOD swag?
First, you're going to like and subscribe wherever you're viewing. And then you're going to go to chpod.com where you can buy one, get one, second one 40% off. And
I stopped saying that, by the way, but okay.
Okay. And if you order over $100.
Yeah, you can just let it go.
Okay, we're not doing that either.
No, yeah.
Anyways, I saw there was a new shirt, the Superstar.
Yes, the Triple G Superstar.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't here for that one. That's right.
I wasn't there. So go ahead and get on there and get that one ordered.
Yeah, limited time only, limited availability.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be back. I think it's just going to be a one and done.
Yeah, if you like Gregory's face, order it now.
I got to tell you, there's nothing funnier than wearing that shirt and going into the shop. Ooh, look, you know?
Oh, Greg.
Right?
Yeah, so.
What about our Patreon?
Oh, yeah. Make sure you go to our Patreon if you're not on it already, and you go to patreon.com and search A Cigar Hustlers Podcast.
So nicely done, man. That was so smooth.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, getting into some comments from our previous show, located on the CHPOD Lounge.
Here we go. Alex, have you visited the lounge yet?
Yeah, I was just there.
It didn't do it again.
No,
Upstairs.
like the
virtual lounge?
yeah.
Let's see if it does it.
No, I didn't.
You got to get in that. You got to check it out.
I should get in that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You should definitely stir up some trouble.
Oh, well, since you're giving me permission, then absolutely. We'll
Yeah,
go in
why
there,
not?
Start some psyops,
Yeah.
There you go.
flip everything upside down.
Everybody else has like 9 fake names.
Oh, is this just all like I Heart BDP, I Heart
Yeah.
Phil McGuffey, I Heart?
Yeah.
No one hearts Mike Stepankevich because they can't spell it.
And you know what, dude? That's okay.
Well, maybe,
It's
know,
okay.
I Heart the Cigar guys will come up.
Maybe. We never know.
All right, looks like this thing glitched back, so I'm going to have to look at it again. But there are 2 comments on the lounge, and then I'll jump to the YouTube page.
Okay.
From Phil's nephew's unchanged diaper.
Wow.
It says, "Here I sit brokenhearted. I get passed to mama once the baby has sharded. Change me, Uncle Phil."
That's because he doesn't change diapers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you do watch the show. Nice.
No, I watched the clips.
Oh.
Michael Z says, "The show was off the rails the minute it started. Can't wait to see how Mike handles it when Triple G and Palmer are gone for a few days." Well, here we are, buddy.
You're witnessing it.
You're witnessing the chaos.
Yeah, just wait till tomorrow.
And then I'll get into some comments from the actual show.
You are watching a master at work.
You were watching. Right. Okay. So let's see. At Brett Mercurio says, "No prize needed. I'm pro Triple G and firearms."
Oh.
So this was an interesting conversation that happened. Palmer did not care about the fact that silencers were sold without any type of taxation or any type of registration needed.
What do you mean he didn't care? Like he thinks that's okay, or he?
He didn't find it newsworthy.
Oh. Is that in Florida?
No, that's federal.
Federal.
It's on a federal level.
So federally, you can buy a suppressor.
I don't know the exact circumstances.
Okay.
But what has happened was I think that the government had a specific date to confirm that, like, if there's no taxation, then there's no requirement type of a scenario.
There's no registration.
Yeah. So you can just own one outright.
This is the biggest news in the 21st century.
It is. It's very big. It's very big. Are you not a...
I think, first of all, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Second of all, Palmer, get your head out of your hand.
Exactly.
Because that is huge.
That is a big deal.
I'm literally going to the gun store after this.
And see what they say. Yeah. It's like, I can just get a suppressor now, right?
Well, you probably just get one off of Timo.
Yeah, but
You get
like
it now.
then you have to order like a pill container,
Yeah.
and then you have to like
Right, to get the free shipping.
yeah, like
It's too much.
it's just too much. I just want to go across the street and get it done.
Love how Triple G feels the need to elaborate that the mention of Trojan is about condoms. Due to y'all having so many conversations about ancient Greek city-states in the past. Thanks, at Ben Rowland. Oh, at iHeart Triple G has updated his profile picture to the Superstar shirt, which
Nice.
is hilarious. A week without Triple G, I'm going to have to order the shirt, Superstar. And at iHeart BDP says, oh no, a week without the great BDP and Triple G. And it's a picture of, wait a second, I think I might know who iHeart BDP is now. Oh boy.
Dox him.
What's that?
Dox him.
Who's that?
Dox, like dox meaning like give up their name,
Yeah.
address, who they are.
Oh, got it. I don't speak
Sorry,
your cool terms.
generational
Yeah, there's a big gap there.
misunderstanding.
Yeah. You know what a newspaper is?
Yeah, like on like the internet
Yeah,
where
like
you click
Yahoo?
on it and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's like MSBC and it shows the news feeds.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Well, that doesn't show the news feeds. They always ask you to subscribe.
At CW6383 says, well, damn, Triple G is right. This was newsworthy and important. Sorry, Palmer. But back to the previous story, I think the old man have had a suppressor on his Ruger. Should have had a suppressor on his Ruger. And at House of Raw, says, hey guys, Brother Raw here from Gold Coast, Australia.
Oh.
Originally from New Zealand. I love this podcast. Had my first cigar start of July this year and am hooked. And since then, I also began listening to your pod. I started from the beginning and am up to episode 69 just after Skiff Martin's trio sewed interview. I try to get through half a dozen a day being on the road as a courier.
Oh, wow.
And I almost caught up with your 3 most recent episodes as well. And I also caught up. Unfortunately, being in Australia, it's not easy to find Roma Craft, but I look forward to the day I can light one up and enjoy. I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of you, your awesome guests, and the info and laughs you share. Love Big Jack Geronio and Skip. Much respect. Keep up the great work, fellas, and enjoy the smoke. Mad respect from the land down under, Brother Raw.
I think we should give this guy a visa to come here, stay for a bit. He sounds American,
Right.
more American than most people that live here.
Right? At the very least, we need to send him some stuff.
Yeah.
Why not?
You know?
That was a great comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to get in touch with this guy somehow. I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe a Phil McGuffey signature. He didn't even mention me. But
Yeah, we don't know
Who?
Yeah, who's Phil?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Never heard of her.
Household name.
At Lance Frazier 4748 says, old man on Tinder is more important to BDP than gun tax. Triple G is right. And that's exactly how it played out.
Yeah.
You got to watch that episode.
Is that like today's,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yesterday's, today's?
Yeah. Uh-oh, my wife's
Most
calling me.
recent one?
Let's see.
That's about right.
Podcasting. Oh, all right, I'll check. Love you, bye.
And in the audience today,
Yeah. Dude, she has been all over this friggin' court thing. What is it with the lady that killed her kids?
Lindsay something. or
Yeah,
other.
something like that. I like how dads and males refer to this like the I don't know her name.
Because you have like half the women on TikTok going, oh, he clearly did it, even
Right.
though there's footage of him not being home for that period of time. She essentially admitted to doing it. Her
Yeah.
defense basically entered a plea of guilty. Now they're just trying to figure out, should she go to prison or go to an insane asylum?
Right.
Is really where we are at today.
Right.
But because he's a Leo or whatever, like he obviously did it. A Virgo would never kill her kids or whatever it is they're saying.
It's wild, dude. It's wild. But this is like just ongoing playing. She's got to catch up. So I just hear it in the background of my house. I just heard it there. Like I know that she's watching it.
Was this like another Casey Anthony thing?
Kind of. It's a little more complicated than that, but it is kind of funny that. What?
No, I'm just saying, like, now that you said it, I'm like, is it more complicated or
I think it's way more complicated than that.
in what sense?
Well, on the sense that, is it possible that all the medication made her psychotic?
Okay. Possible.
Side effects.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, there are other variables too. Like the reason why everybody's going after the husband is because some of the way that he acts in specific things and that his demeanor. But I'm like,
Right, yeah. Everyone is either a lawyer or a
Right.
psychologist
yeah,
all of a sudden.
right. It's like, look.
Well, it's also possible that he parked his truck at CVS, grabbed a bag of Skittles, down the bag of Skittles, got a runner's high, ran back to his house, killed all the kids and almost his wife, then ran back, got his truck, went somewhere else, and then went back home. That's also possible.
Oh, that's the theory?
Yes. And he's the
wild.
Flash.
And he's the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild, man. So, you know, it's. I mean, the Casey Anthony thing, that was just like a no body.
That was either like, did you do it or not?
Yeah.
This one was like, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's just like, okay,
Oh,
are we going to
there's
find
evidence.
her mentally insane?
Yeah, this is confirmed.
Yeah.
These are the things that have occurred. Now the real question is, why did it happen?
Yeah.
And we were listening to, I guess, the psychologist or whatever.
The real one?
Yeah. Well,
Not the TikTok
I mean, in my opinion, I don't know, man. I felt bad for this girl because they're so young, right? But I feel like she's also part of the system that failed. This.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty messy.
Yeah.
It's pretty messy. And the attorney's fun to watch. He is.
The defense attorney?
Yeah, he's really good. Let's see here. So, at David Hasselhoffman says, so we have a similar program with my electric company. However, I can change mine whenever with no restrictions. If I deviate, then I just don't get the credit for that day. And honestly, the credit's like $1 or $3. I'm not making money here. He's talking about, so there was an AC unit that would set up and like it screwed this person, wouldn't let them lower their AC below 79 degrees.
Oof.
79.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Just turn it off at that point.
Right? And then David Hasselhoffman also said, I thought I was late for work thinking it was Monday. Laugh out loud. Because, dude, I mean, you know, Palmer messed up a lot of people, you know? It wasn't good.
It's not even April yet.
Yeah, this is what happens when you throw him out of rhythm. It's like, okay, you're getting on a plane. It's like, blah, 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 blah.
I feel for Palmer.
I do too sometimes.
In this specific case, I do.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. I did a picture where I posted of myself and my brother, and I was wearing the Superstar shirt.
Yeah.
And I misspelled Superstar on Instagram.
Which is why Greg is the superstar.
Yeah.
And you're just the star.
It was like, instead of there being a P there, it would put an O or something.
Oh.
And I left it. I haven't cared. But Palmer was the first to let me know. Hey, there's a misspelling here. Don't worry, mistakes happen. So then I wrote back to him. I go, listen, it's one. I'll do one for every 375 that you'll do, right? So within a 24-hour span, we've had nothing but chaos, right? He sent an email blast out for the shop, misspelling on the subtitle. Yeah, like, And then we had the show release early, right? And then, I mean, amongst other things that are here too. So, like, I'm letting them know. You know, don't do that. Don't be like that to me. I make one mistake.
Yeah, you got 372 more to go until I can make my next one.
Yeah, exactly.
We could catch up today. You're at like 5 now.
Me? With my mistakes?
Probably. I don't know.
What do you think I've done?
I haven't been keeping track.
What mistakes? The misreadings that are on here?
Yes.
Those aren't my mistakes.
Yeah,
Ooh, they're not?
They're not.
So should we add this to Palmer's tally?
This is definitely.
I tried helping. Sorry.
They definitely deserve
Totally
to be
didn't mean
on,
that.
on Palmer's tab, but I'm trying to give them some grace because, hey, I got to plug in here and we're good to go, right? So, but he doesn't help himself. Don't come after me.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you should just been like, hey, just so you know,
Yeah.
misspelling.
Yeah, like, hey, I saw this. If you want me to log into your account, I can fix it for you. Something like that. You know? Okay, now the news.
Here we go.
Costco shoppers who have been waiting 2 years for the return of a fan favorite finally have something to celebrate. Kirkland Signature semi-sweet chocolate chips are reportedly returning to Costco warehouses after disappearing from shelves back in 2024.
Ooh.
They're back, baby.
The popular chocolate chips sold in the recognizable red bag were pulled after a major increase in cocoa prices made it difficult for Costco to keep the product at the price point customers expected. At the time, cocoa costs had surged dramatically, and Costco replaced its Kirkland chips with Nestle Toll House chocolate chips. But now, 2 years later, the Kirkland version is showing up again at select Costco locations.
And you don't need a tax stamp to buy it.
And you don't need a tax stamp. There will be some taxes involved.
Of course.
It's a state by state, but
This is as big as when Jordan went back to the Wizards.
this is huge.
Yeah.
This is massive.
Yeah.
I respect to Costco, though, for instead of just increasing the prices, pull it off the shelf. Like, listen, we can't sell it for the price we want to sell it to keep you guys happy. We're pulling it.
We're done.
We'll revisit this in 2 years.
We're going to Death Star it and we'll be back. You know that, right? Have you ever seen that? So, like, if you go to Costco, there's on their price tags, on like their display things, if there's an asterisk on it, that means it's done. It's not coming back for the season. So it's called the Death Star.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't go to Costco that often to know these things. I am a member.
Yeah.
Also a Sam's Club member.
Only for the hot dogs.
Sam's Club is closer to you.
Correct. Sam's Club, gas, like clutch.
Right.
Costco is,
Hot dogs.
well, yeah, hot dogs for sure. The nearest Costco is in Altamont, I guess, technically. So that's like a few times a year. Sam's Club will do like a few times a quarter.
But I heard they're opening one by you.
Yeah, same thing.
Allegedly, yes, where the mall is.
Yeah.
Where the mall used to be. Mm-hmm. Which was Death Star as well.
Which is also Death Star.
Never to return, though. This is the final Death Star. They are not coming back. Costco is going to open up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be a game changer for you.
It could be, but Sam's Club's still closer.
Not by much.
By enough to, it's Sam's Club technically driving distance. It would be halfway to
Really?
the Costco. Yeah.
I think it's a matter of time. I think when you have a second kid, you transition full Costco.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just
So I'm not disagreeing with you because
Yeah.
personally I feel like Costco's better
yeah,
than Sam's Club.
it is.
It is possible that I will make the extra 2-mile drive
Yeah.
to get there.
Sam's is more like where you get your candy to sell and stuff like that. Like that's always been that's how I feel when you go into to Sam's, right? It's more like almost wholesale-y, right?
Okay.
Where Costco is more like wholesale pricing for retail consumption.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then they always got really cool shit. As soon as you walk in, you're like, oh man, get away from me.
Yeah. My thing is I only go to either, generally, actually, to further your point,
Mm-hmm.
I usually go to Sam's Club for like the toilet paper and the paper towels and the gas, obviously.
Right?
But when we do go to Costco, we get a bunch of food.
Yeah.
So I'm following what you're saying.
It only gets worse, buddy. Then they're gonna have the slide out there, the water slide, and you're
Oh,
like, oh, my
God.
kids are gonna love this. It's chaos.
Starting to save now.
Kids, you're having another one?
Well, yeah, we can't stop at one. I don't want my kid to be spoiled with no siblings.
Oh, okay.
How many you want?
We're gonna take that as we go.
How many does she want?
6.
6?
She wants 6.
But she's an only child, technically, kind of. She's basically an only child. She didn't have siblings growing up.
Right.
So
I'm
I
an only
feel like
child.
that is why a lot of only children, they're like, oh, I want a lot of kids.
Right.
Because they didn't have that.
Thank God for you. She would have wound up being a cat lady.
True.
I mean, oh my God.
Like I grew up, I was the oldest of 4.
Yeah.
So I had that.
You had that.
Like 4 is cool. 3 is good. You know that. 3 is good.
I like 3.
You know, like it's a good number.
I would go for 4. I would have went for 4.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 4 is like,
Whatever.
playing for 3, you have the 4th. Like it's okay.
What's one more at that point?
Exactly.
You know?
So then
Yeah.
you start thinking,
Until you get to 6.
well, we have 4 already. What's one
What's
more?
5? I don't know. Eventually, you start shooting blanks at some point, I would assume.
Natural selection.
Yeah.
God intervenes.
Yeah, it's like we're done here.
Well, then there you go. If you can't have 5, you can't have 5. You got
Right.
4. Great.
There you go. Phil said something interesting, though, that he was an only child. I don't know if you caught that. He briefly said, I'm an only child. I was an only child.
Yeah.
Phil, you have spread your seed across 3 different platforms.
Correct.
Yeah. So how many kids?
Well, that we know of.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4 children.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 different baby mamas.
Correct.
All right. So if anything, you're freaking out and making a statement of she wants 6, but you got 4.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6
I don't
is-
have headphones on. So
It's
you know.
important. That's why, because he
6
does
is
his
too many.
undertone shit. 6 is too many.
Yeah,
4 is okay.
yeah.
So it's a
What
hard
about
line.
5?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too.
No, 5's too much.
So it's a hard line at 4.
Yeah,
Last year he said 3's too much.
really, 3 was the line, but I had to conform.
If he went to rebuild again, 6 would be fine. You know
Oh,
what I
for
mean?
sure. I think
Yeah.
retrospect, you always plan for more because you're like, listen, I know how it's done.
Right.
We can build an empire now.
Yeah, this is no big deal.
Like, I have all these minions.
Yeah, and I don't want to pull out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. There's more stuff here about the Costco thing, blah, 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 but we're moving on to the next story. Authorities in Florida are searching for 3 people accused of going on a multi-state crime spree with a disturbing target:
Oh.
cemeteries.
Oh, that's the old school stuff.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office says the suspects allegedly broke into mausoleums and cemetery niches containing cremated remains, stealing jewelry and other family heirlooms that relatives had placed with their loved ones. Investigators have identified the suspects as 33-year-old Drake Lee Meelam, his girlfriend, 32-year-old Porsche Bancroft, and Bancroft's mother was involved as well, 52-year-old Angela Garrett. Authorities say all 3 are from Indianapolis area, and arrest warrants have been issued that would allow them to be extradited back to Florida to face charges.
Oh, they skipped town.
The 52-year-old was like, what do you think? She was the
Driver.
top dog? Like,
I'm just curious how they had such a good spree that they made it all the way to Indianapolis.
yeah.
So they started in Florida and went to Indianapolis, is what it says?
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe they ran. Maybe they realized, like, we're in trouble, we got to get out of here.
It could be, yeah.
They're never going to look in Indianapolis.
My thing is, like, the risk reward of breaking into a crypt and hoping that there's valuable enough items in there to make
Well,
it
it's
even worth it.
pretty disturbing.
I mean, it's kind of Indiana Joneses, right?
I mean,
It's kind of Indiana Jones.
at least there were rumors of the idol. Now it's like there might be a Rolex in here. Like this guy might have been buried with a Rolex.
Yeah. This was the owner of Macy's back in the day.
Hence the Raiders of the Lost Ark thing that he
Right.
titled it.
Right.
Which is why there's no point in getting buried with your possessions. Just give them to your kids.
Yeah, I think that a lot of dudes feel that way anyways. At least the real ones. Like, I don't need,
I'm dead.
right? What, I can't take it with me.
Yeah. Like
Right.
in case someone happens to come back and open up my grave, I want to be iced out,
Right.
chain, Rolex,
Yeah.
tuxedo, like
Right.
just in case.
Okay.
Give me the stuff. You know?
But then it just gets taken.
I mean, little mementos are cool. If you want to put like little mementos in there, I get that.
Yeah, like
That
a
tracks.
cross or like
Yeah.
You know,
Stuff like family stuff or whatever.
But like,
just-
100 racks.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
This is wild.
This is wild.
Yeah. What about you, Phil? Would you, when you
You'd
die,
be buried with the mask.
you love
His coffin has to be like a foot higher for
Right.
the horn to fit.
Yeah, exactly. What is there something that you want to be? I know that you like to think about death a lot,
Definitely not.
and it's a big thing for you to reflect on.
No.
So tell me, what is it that you want to be buried with? You want like 2 Chainz style, bury you inside the Louis store?
No, I've been kind of looking into this freeze chamber thing. Have you guys seen this whole thing? This is like the new thing.
Han Solo style.
Yeah, have you guys seen this?
You want to be frozen?
Yeah, this is like a new thing. Like a lot of people are starting to do it.
Really?
I've never heard of this.
No.
Tell me about it.
Well, now there's some that I don't think are very smart. They're doing the whole chop their head off and freeze just that portion.
Oh,
like
Walt Disney did that.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole body thing, I mean, who knows? Maybe, Elon, he's going to be the dude. Maybe Elon brings them all back.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
But he would be on display though. Like he'd be in his bedroom, his master bedroom in whatever mansion. It'd be walled off. And then like just for display, they turn it into a museum. I could see that.
You could see Elon or
But
Phil.
like, Phil McGuffey, no one's gonna go visit Phil McGuffey's frozen body in Deltona, Florida.
But he wants to live forever. He's what his belief is that if they freeze you, they can bring you back.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're not dead.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Right.
You know, like Encino Man or something.
Well,
Stuck in ice this whole time.
the article reads a lot of people that have like cancer and stuff like that, disease that they can't cure right then, like it's an incurable type cancer. They're freezing their bodies and hoping that when they come, they can be unfrozen down the road when they finally have the cure.
So who have you heard that's been frozen?
No. I don't know anybody.
There's
personally.
no one in particular. No, there's no. But I'm not saying that you know them. But I'm just saying that so and so is a celebrity or highly intelligent individual.
You know the guy that's doing the health thing where he wanted to like stay young forever, and he's like, oh,
Chuck
I look
Norris?
like I'm what?
Chuck Norris?
No, he has magical powers. That's different. The guy that
he's dead. Just
Yeah.
for the record.
Chuck, that too.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I don't know if you've seen him, but there's this guy. He's probably in his 40s or 50s, and he's doing everything he can to like keep himself young so
Yeah.
he can live forever. He got diagnosed with an incurable disease, ironically.
No way.
It's a true story.
That is so sad. I'm sorry to laugh.
So this guy would be a perfect candidate for that because he would probably be like, all right, freeze my body, and then maybe like years and years from now, they'll figure out how to cure my disease.
Right.
Then I can live forever.
Yeah. You know, it actually doesn't cost as much as you guys think it costs.
Yeah. What do you think the cost is?
No, they said they had the price in there. It was like $275,000.
It's like one-time fee.
Yeah, one time.
It's not monthly or anything.
No.
But what if electricity prices skyrocket in 50, 60 years, and then they're like, oh, we got to revisit this?
Just unplug it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
This,
like, what are they going to do?
Defrost them.
I don't know this.
Hey, so
We're gonna need
no,
more
we
money.
haven't cured the disease yet.
Yeah.
But we need another $100,000 to keep
So
going.
about your great-great-grandpa. We're gonna have to unplug.
Then that's kind of like the Matrix.
I think that you would be a prime candidate, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like this one poor guy who's done everything right to try and then all of a sudden, bam, incurable disease. I feel like, the meteor hits,
Yeah.
and you'd be fine. You'd survive just because of how you've taken care of your body.
Thank you.
And, you've been like appropriately
Sorry, there's something in my throat.
building for your, for any type of intoxication in the air.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Well, according to investigators, the group is suspected of targeting cemeteries. I can't believe that we went that. I mean, we really deviated off this story.
Yeah.
And at least, they stole from 9 states. Authorities have specifically identified cases or suspected activity in Florida, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Texas, Georgia, Iowa, North Carolina, and then the great state of New York.
I take back everything I said. This is clearly a profitable crime.
They're obviously doing well.
Yeah, and they're sporadic. Mm-hmm. There's no line like up the East
Which
Coast.
is intentional. Like, you go Florida, Georgia, everyone knows that.
Right.
No, Florida, Oklahoma,
Right.
Minnesota,
Right.
All the scammers are anyway.
Right.
So like they'll blend in.
A lot of them are there, yeah.
Maybe the laws are different about stealing from cemeteries, like crypts or whatever you said.
In Florida alone, detectives are investigating about 20 cases, but they believe the actual number of victims could be much higher. Wow. The concern is that some families may not even know they've been victimized because people don't check on their dead people often.
Right. Yeah.
Many of these niches can go months or even years without being opened or closely inspected. Deputies are now encouraging families who have loved ones in cemetery niches to check their resting places and make sure any jewelry, keepsakes, or other valuables are still there.
Are you supposed to open the...
So, wait, I was just going to say that. They want you to go and dig them up?
I don't know.
Or like
I mean,
check the ground
I feel like
and be
if
like, I don't know, it looks like it could have been dug up. Like
I feel like they weren't courteous when they broke in. So like if you go and brought flowers and you saw that there was a big hole there, you'd know something. Wait a second. You know?
This tombstone is off.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okay. Ooh, we got a sports one.
Oh, thank God.
WNBA player.
Pass.
Sophie Cunningham is once again drawing attention, this time over comments involving transgender athletes in women's sports. Cunningham has publicly expressed opposition to transgender women competing in women's basketball, arguing that women's sports should remain limited to biological females.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Those comments have generated plenty of reaction from both sides of the issue. During a recent game, Cunningham was reportedly met with boos from portions of the crowd. But on the court, she appeared unfazed because she's an athlete, that's why. It shouldn't matter what someone's yelling in the crowds, right? Smiling, continuing to play, and taking her shots despite the reaction from fans. Cunningham has previously made it clear that she understands not everyone's going to agree with her position. The larger debate over transgender participation in women's sports continues across the United States, involving professional amateur athletics, states, legislatures, courts, schools, and any parent that doesn't have a daughter. That's what it says. No, it doesn't say that.
Right.
I was going to say, that one felt real.
Yeah. I mean, dude, whatever.
Who cares if she got booed on court? There's 10 people in the stands. 5 of them are transgender anyway.
Oh, you're mean. Don't be mean.
I didn't say that.
Keep going. You're fine. That's not nice.
What I'm trying to what I'm trying to say is, she's right. First of all, we don't need men in women's sports.
I agree.
Makes sense. If you want to, this is the follow the science crew, right? Like COVID will kill your grandma, blah blah blah. But then the science falls apart when you put a man in women's sports and you deny the fact that men, on average, are generally stronger and outperform women in athletics across the board.
Well, I think there was a story, not that long ago where there was a woman that was in
swimming.
Boxing up against.
Oh
Yeah.
And she said, "I've never been hit that hard before in my life. Like, what are we doing? I don't,
Right.
If that was my daughter, I'd have a problem with that.
Right.
100%.
Well, you guys know what this is stirring over, right?
What is it?
This is
Boredom. It's stirring over boredom.
No, this is the two NBA players. They're the former NBA players. They said that they now identify as women.
Right.
And they are declaring for the draft.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's what this is about.
But they're showing you that there are loopholes and the system's broken.
But also, look at it this way. Would Michael Jordan ever do this?
Do what?
Well, he's a different person.
Transition, quote unquote, and join women's sports?
And then just go
No,
crash?
because he was successful in what he did, and everyone knows who he is, and he's got all the money in the world.
Right.
Who are these guys that retired and were like, oh, I'm going to transition and play women's sports?
Okay.
They clearly didn't make anything from their career.
You know what? I agree with you. I'm going to take it one step further, though.
Okay.
Because there's another thing that's going on in youth sports, and I would love to hear your opinion on it.
Oh, okay.
I would too.
There's this thing called reclassification.
Of what?
Of what? I'll tell you. If your kid is in 8th grade,
Okay.
and let's say they're athletic, but they're struggling against bigger kids, you can pull them back and have them do 8th grade again, so that they're going in their freshman year an age older.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Do you think that's okay?
No. That doesn't happen naturally. Like their parents pull them back. That happens because they don't pass their tests and stuff.
No. This happens more than you think.
You have 100%.
Yeah.
Really?
It happens way more
Yeah.
than you think. I know 3 or 4 kids kind of in the realm of my kid, maybe not at the school, maybe there might be some at the school, but there are some that are in that area that are doing this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, so to answer your question, like if you're doing it in high school, I really don't care. Like, if they're serious about making it a career,
High school?
not high school football, but I'm saying if they want to like go to the NFL, they have a better chance of doing that.
What about the NBA?
Yeah.
What is that, basketball?
Yes. That's basketball.
I personally, I don't really care
Okay.
like that much. I mean, like, listen, if you're going to school and you're like, I don't want to be a doctor, I don't want to be a lawyer, I don't want to be this, I want to be a pro basketball player.
Okay.
And you have the option to be held back for another year to, further your chances at succeeding later.
Right. You think that's okay?
Debatable.
Right.
I don't really know.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. That's why I bring it up, because look.
Because the thing is, like, kids get held back for bad grades.
Sure.
So then it's like, okay, well, I just so happen to fail all my classes, I'm not ready.
Well, if you're failing your classes, you're not supposed to be able to contend in athletic sports anyways.
Well,
Right?
well, here in Florida you have FHSAA or whatever, right? they don't have a rule where it says like you're only eligible for so many years in high school?
Well, they still have that, yeah. But
We're
if you're
talking
held
about
back 1 year.
1 year held back. We're talking about 1 year hold back. But the reason why I bring it up is because, I mean, one of the things that you just stated was, listen, if you weren't good in this, so you transitioned into a different gender so that you can go dominate in that sport, in similar fashion, you couldn't compete at the level equal to you. So you went and you changed the rules so that you could play against younger, smaller people. Like, how is that okay?
Well, so we have to look at it now as, is being held back 1 year going to make a drastic difference compared to a male versus a female?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you've had kids in middle school sports, you would see that there's a significant difference between a 6th grader and a 7th grader.
Yeah.
Okay, which is why I said high school maybe, because if you're talking about middle school especially, that's a very pivotal time in terms of hormonal growth and stuff like that. So yeah, you could have a 6th grader that's, 100 pounds soaking wet, and then you have a 8th grader that's like 200 pounds
You could
both
have
on the field.
You could have a 7th grader.
And you could just have that naturally anyway.
Sure.
So that's why it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, and what's funny to me is like you haven't seen any of it. You haven't like looked at any of the data, so it's interesting to me to get your perspective because I've seen some of this, and I'm like, whoa, like this shouldn't be allowed. Now, my attitude towards my kids and playing in sports is, look, I don't give a shit who's in front of you. It doesn't matter. You got to let them know you're not going to go away. Period.
So would you not hold your son back 1 year?
I would not.
Ever?
No.
Under any circumstances?
Dude, I would not.
It's not fair.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I don't care.
Here, I'll give you a different perspective. And I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast or not, but recently, my oldest son, school has 2 classes, right? All of his friends are in one class. And then, like, I mean, he has some friends in his class, but like the tight group of kids are all in this other class, right?
Okay.
Could I have made a call and put him into that class?
I mean, you could have.
Absolutely. Why would I do that?
Well, in that case, he wants to be in that class because all his friends are in there.
Right.
But wouldn't that could be seen as inhibiting his education because now he can be distracted and he's got all his buddies in there. Now he's not paying attention as much as if he was in the class without his friends.
Okay.
That's how I would look at that situation.
What about a social growth?
After school, lunch, physical ed, like
Okay.
you still can have a social life, but when you're going to school and you're in class, the main goal should be to obviously focus on your education.
To learn.
Well, no, regardless of what you're saying of time, but I mean, like, okay, his friends are all in that class, but now he's got new people that he can grow and become sociable with, grow his network and all that. I mean.
So you mean like improving your social skills and meeting new people.
And network.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. Like, I agree with both of you. Putting my kid in uncomfortable positions to grow is important.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, right? And number two, hitting the easy button for my kid does nothing but raise a pussy. Like, if you don't put your child in scenarios where they're forced to grow and figure things out, right? Now, I'm not saying throw them in a cage of lions, right? Like, I'm talking about bruises, not scars. I'm talking about this. You have to put them, if you're a team, if you have a football team that absolutely dominates in the 4th grade, right? And they're 3rd graders, and they're playing up against 4th graders in like a 3-4 team. Guess what? If I'm their coach and they go into 4th grade, we're going to go and play up against 5th grade, 6th graders. Because if you just go in and dominate in a classification, it doesn't make any, there's no growth as an individual.
To be clear, you are okay with 3rd graders playing against 4th graders?
Am I okay with kids that are more able and better than, yeah, absolutely. but not the other way around.
Yeah, that's how you see these superstars out there in the NFL and NBA. They didn't play against kids their own age and stuff. They furthered their skills by playing.
By getting their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't even think that going the way, these parents are hitting easy buttons for their kids, and I think they're making it worse for their kids than better long term. Because, hey, go this way. You don't even have to struggle. You'll win every game. Great. There's no development there.
Yeah.
There's no development in me. And I've told my son, listen, when the shit hits the fan and you need the button to call, you push the button, right? And I'm there. I'll solve the problem. No questions asked. But if I feel that it's something that you can solve and navigate through, I'm not solving that problem.
Right.
I'm not doing it. No way. Because I know what type of an individual I'd be raising at that point. A person that can't handle any type of situation, any type of circumstances where there's any crisis or anything like that. And I got news for you, man. Crises are plenty.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with more than you want to.
Yeah, we deal with 20 of them in one show.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And this is just a podcast.
Yeah, this doesn't even matter.
Right.
This is bullshit.
Right. This is inefficient in life, right, to some degree. But everything else matters.
Yeah, and your job as a parent is by the time you leave this earth, you set up your kids to be able to succeed.
Yeah, you don't want to raise a Veruca Salt.
Right.
You get that? That's a Willy Wonka reference. probably before your time.
Yeah, I've seen the clips.
Okay.
Yeah, with Johnny Depp or whatever.
Yeah, that one.
Wow.
So to kind of briefly get back to the story, I don't really listen. Look, she spoke out on her opinion. Whatever. I don't really care about that. I think that, listen, I'm not any athlete or celebrity making a stand on XYZ. I just think that that's just always kind of obnoxious, especially when it's more political. This isn't as political as people like to make it, but whatever. And I agree with her, I guess, but.
I think it's kind of bad for the WNBA or for the girls in the WNBA. I mean, listen, I don't like watching the games because they're not the best. And
well, we do have to ask the question: would more people watch the WNBA if more men were playing in it?
No, because it wouldn't be the WNBA.
Well, I think personally, with these other guys doing what they're doing, I think that look, it's important to kind of address loopholes and solidify these things so that they get rectified and. Hopefully it does.
I don't think they're going to play. I think they're looking for a lawsuit.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Either way, it's still fixing a loophole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, Alex, is I think
I got it after.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. They don't care if they play or not. They just want to potentially have a way to say, "Oh, I'm suing you for not letting me play."
Right.
There's nothing in your guidelines that says I can't play.
Right.
Okay.
Drop your pants.
Ready? Let's get into cigar news.
Oh, here we go.
City of Palms ends Caballero's Cigars distribution.
Goodbye.
I got this email too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I don't get any.
Are you? Oh.
He's,
Never mind.
Fort Myers, Florida-based City of Palms Distribution Services has announced that it is no longer distributing the products from Tabacalera Caballeros. The change happened on August 1st, 2026. It has been our sincere pleasure to provide logistical and distribution support to Caballero Cigars as they navigated their entry into the U.S. market, said Kevin Dinkins, president of City Palms, in a statement. We wish Caballero Cigars and their team great success for the future of the brand. Tabacalera Caballeros is named after Santiago de los Caballeros, the Dominican city that is home to many of the country's most prominent factories. The company was founded in 2022 by Marco Accardi and Christian Quintana. Caballeros did not reply to emails sent about the brand's new distribution for the U.S. Comments on this? What do you think? What do you think happened?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea because there's no context. It just basically says hey, we're done. I mean, a number of things could have happened.
Have you heard of Caballero Cigars?
I want to say yes,
Okay.
but I couldn't tell you anything.
Okay.
About them.
Phil, have you heard of Caballero Cigars?
No.
So one of the first things I was going to say is maybe underperformance. It just wasn't working.
Right.
I mean, outside of that, it could have been a number of things that happened internally.
So who failed? If Caballero Cigars has never been heard of, like you haven't heard of them, and they don't know, they haven't popped up on my radar.
If it's who I'm thinking it is, then yeah, they're basically.
This is burning perfectly again, by the way, just so everybody knows.
Look at that.
Just want everybody to see that right there.
What brand
Boom.
is that?
93.
This is a Postano Sumatra Churchill that.
Oh, that was the. So not that cigar, but one of the cigars they made was number 2 on Half Wheel.
Yeah,
I have heard of that one.
Yeah, they got a number 2,
Okay.
and then the one right after that release, when they reviewed it, they torpedoed it. They got like a solid 81.
Solid.
Solid.
That's still a B.
That is a B.
B for good.
However, the same blend in a LE got a 92 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, he probably had chimichurri before he.
Well,
smoked it.
one was reviewed by Brooks, who I love, and the other one was Charlie, who I love and hate simultaneously. So, but I got to ask you the question again. Who's to blame? If you don't know who Caballero Cigars is it the distributor's fault or is it the brand owner's fault?
I would say that it's mainly.
Asking you the hard questions.
It could be either way. If the brand owner is not putting in their side of the work, meaning they're not doing the marketing on their side, they're not out there,
Right.
then there's obviously going to be a much less chance of people finding out about them. But if the distributor was hired to do a job to distribute it and get to the different retailers and stuff and spread the word, then it's like if they didn't do their job, that also could have an impact on the success.
Sure.
It could go either way.
Okay.
And it could be both.
Sure. Phil, who do you think is responsible?
This is a hard one because I've never heard of Caballero Cigars.
Okay.
So the brand was never, big to begin with, right?
Okay.
And number 2, I mean, yeah, the distributor in the cigar industry is supposed to get the word out to its retailers, right? So,
Okay.
But then it could fall back to, okay, let's say some retailers did try it, and then they weren't impressed with it or whatever, they felt it wouldn't work, then that shifts back to the brand itself.
Right.
I have a feeling what you're going to say is ultimately it's the brand that is at fault.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. From this news article, it says, Caballeros did not reply to emails sent about the brand's new distribution for the U.S. So what does that tell me about the brand?
non-communicative.
That tells me that a guy...
They switched distributions? Is that what it's saying?
But when you ask them, hey, what's going on?
Oh, gotcha.
And they don't, and they dead air you, I interpret that as, hey, we're not communicating. We're not developing. We're not doing marketing. We made this cigar and we thought that this was just going to work, and it hasn't. You can give me a cigar and I can distribute it, but if nobody knows who you are, if you haven't started your marketing and developing it and creating a great blend, we know that can go either way. It doesn't even have to be a great blend for it to hit, right? If you're not doing those things, no matter what I present to somebody, they're going to say, what the hell is this?
Right. I've never heard of it. Never seen it.
Yeah. You know, I don't know the story. I don't know anything about nothing, right? So I do agree with you that there is a responsibility for a distributor, right? But like responding to emails and like getting back to retailers and communicating those things. Now, can I verify that City of Palms is doing these things? I cannot, right? However, I can also tell you that I have absolutely no idea who Caballeros is, and that's the responsibility of the brand.
Yeah. In this specific situation, I would lean towards the fact that City of Palms does do their job based on what I know about them,
Right.
and the brands they work with.
Right.
So I would lean towards, in this situation, the brand being at fault.
Okay.
In a hypothetical scenario, we'll say 60% brand fault, 40% distribution fault. Now it's up to the details of what actually happened.
I'd go 70-30,
Okay.
honestly. I'd say it's 70% brand owner and then 30% distributor when it comes to failure points and stuff like that. Because, I mean, from a distributor's perspective, I always look at what I need to do that I can be doing better to help a brand kind of continue to build and develop. But
There's only so much that you can do
Well, he said the
in
word.
this situation.
He said help.
Right. Versus the brand itself.
correct.
No.
Correct. It's like, okay, all right, a year has come and gone. How many posts have you done? Right? Have you done any podcasts or interviews or anything? No? Okay. Have you worked on any new blends? No? Okay. What about...
So you don't have anything to work with.
Right. So you've given me nothing, right? So I got to walk in and say cigar, right?
Yeah.
And then if I got to say Dominican cigar, now you're already, in my opinion, you're already fighting an uphill battle, because a lot of the Dominican stuff that's produced isn't great, right?
Right.
There's few and far between that have been very successful. And those ones that are successful are great at what they do. They make great cigars. So I'm not saying that it isn't possible, but what I am saying is there are a lot of factories in the Dominican Republic, I believe, that are very easy, very happy to take your money, make you a cigar, and then just dump it out and not really care about what you're producing.
You have to be, as a brand, you have to be on top of that yourself too.
Right.
Because if I go to a factory, let's say in the Dominican Republic, and I'm like, I want a cigar, I want this. They're like, okay, here you go. And if I try it, let's say I'm in the sampling phase, and the samples are shit, do I pick the best one of the bunch? Or do I say, no, this is bad, I'm gonna give you another chance to do it, and if we can't reach, a cigar that is of quality, I'll have to go somewhere else.
Right.
So yeah, it falls on you at the end of the day.
But this
as a
is
brand
all we
owner.
have. So which one do you like?
Well, that kind of falls back on a lot of people like to deceive themselves. My kid's the prettiest, my kid's the handsomest, whatever, right? And my cigar's the best. Well, is it though? Like, you went to somebody else's factory and they may or may not have given you what they had the best of. They may have given you more likely what they had in higher quantities of. Produce a cigar and you just convinced yourself that it's great.
Yeah, because you were so excited that you finally have a cigar.
I got my own cigar.
Right.
So, all right, moving on. Perdomo Legacy Father Son ships to stores nationwide.
Oh, Perdomo.
Perdomo, blah, 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 blah. We're already at an hour. Working together with my son on these incredible, unique blends has truly been a rewarding experience. Perdomo Legacy Father Son reflects our shared passion for tobacco. Coop can cover that.
Yeah, I'm sure you already did.
From barbells to cigars.
Hey.
In Ohio, cigars and fitness come together in an imaginative, repurposed warehouse that's outfitted with a full-scale gym, a basketball court, a hidden cigar room, and more. This is my place.
Dope.
Man. I am in.
Yeah.
This guy's got money. First thing I thought of.
Fitness influencer and serial entrepreneur Gregory has his own fantasy land in a 15,000 square foot warehouse located in Grainville, Ohio. The space, which he reconditioned, includes his place of business, a 5,000 square foot gym, and an enticing hidden cigar room.
Dope.
The concept might sound fanatical, but once you understand Gregory's story and cigar journey, it becomes clear that this undertaking is simply par for the course. Gregory got into premium smokes when he was business partners with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Wow.
Hey.
arguably the most famous cigar smoker on the planet. As Gregory reshaped the bare bones warehouse, lessons from the bodybuilding icon helped inspire him to add a cigar room into the mix. Attaboy.
Okay, so is it a cigar room or a warehouse? Because I thought I heard a warehouse in there.
I don't know. We don't know how he writes these things. Yes? Let's read on. Maybe we'll find more.
Yeah.
Gregory, 47, is a man of many hats. The foundation for his life was set at just 19 years old when he followed in his family's footsteps, becoming a fourth-generation coal miner in Ohio. But Gregory already had bigger plans in mind. He logged many 70-plus hour weeks in the mines, saved every dime, and used the money to move to Columbus, Ohio, where he started his own gym at 20 years old. In 2008, he co-founded Muscle Farm, a sports nutrition brand that grew into an industry powerhouse. In 2015, Gregory sold his stake in the company and ventured into new projects. He has since launched a workout programming and nutrition app called Corey G Fitness, created his second sports nutrition brand called Max Effort Muscle, and co-founded the Old School Gym, a 5,000 square foot invite-only training facility located inside his warehouse. The gym is home to the 4 a.m. crew, an elite powerlifting team, and other high-level athletes train there. So no, I don't know more
I'm gonna
information.
assume it's like a lounge.
So it's like,
Hangout area.
it's like invite only type style. This sounds incredible.
You should pay him a visit.
I would love to go and see this, without question. I'd have to look this up a little further, and then we would have to parlay some cigar events in Ohio.
Absolutely.
You know,
2 tickets
been there,
to
done that.
paradise.
what's that?
Been there, done that.
You've been there, done that.
You have.
I have. Wow. Attaboy, Corey. All right. Now it's time for industry's favorite game.
Yay.
What's the score?
91.
Wow.
Can you predict a cigar score from a halfway review before it's revealed? We'll give you clues. You make your guess. As the review unfolds, the answer gets closer. Or does it?
Dun, dun, dun.
The closest guess wins. It says pause.
Dun, dun,
There's
dun.
no way to pause because no one has it. Let's play What's the Score? August 15, 2026. My dear friend, Charlie Minato, Cigars, Dominican Republic, Principal Cigars, reviews, Principal, I screw this word up all the time.
Acapulco?
No, it's like, I'm going to blow it. Martinique Corona.
Oh, yeah.
Cigar reviewed, Principal Martinique. Oh, do you want to pick your score? Pick your score. Wait a second. You're the guest. Phil?
Hello. 85.
Dang, I was going to say that. 84.
85 and 84. Cigar reviewed, Principal Martinique Corona. Country of origin, Dominican Republic. Factory, Kellner Boutique Factory. Wrapper, Ecuador, Connecticut Seed. Binder, Dominican Republic, Monte Plata. Filler, Dominican Republic and USA. Length, 5.5 inches. Gauge, 43. Shape, round.
And brown.
MSRP, $14 hairs. Release date, June 2026. Regular production. Number of cigars smoked for review, 3. Phil?
85.
The blend sounds good, so I'm going to say 82.
Number 1, enjoyable flavors of creaminess, wood, sourdough bread, lemon, and pepper when smoked carefully. Impressive consistency and cigar dimensions with enjoyable bread-forward retrohales. Let me check. Let me double check this. Ooh, okay. That was actually, okay, so that's 1, I guess. Phil?
85.
It sounds good, so I'm going to stick with 82.
Okay.
You're at 84.
All right, so I kind of gave you 2 clues simultaneously, so we're going to jump to the third clue that's also labeled 1.
Okay.
It says 1, 2, 3, blank, 1. The cigar is highly sensitive to heat and often becomes overly sharp, harsh, and peppery.
Told you.
Phil?
79.
I'll go 81.
Oh.
Okay, I believe this is the final thought.
Okay.
If the cigar god came down from tobacco heaven and told me the cigar was in a sick period, I'd believe the deity. I have a very difficult time believing the most of what I smoked is what it was intended. First and foremost, it was probably the most challenging cigar to smoke of anything I've reviewed all year. He did smoke that Postania, though. So I guess, fortunately, that wasn't due to terrible construction or excessive amounts of strength. Rather, it seemed like the sweet spot for the flavor was in the narrowest of ranges, maybe even not present. Smoking at my normal puff rate, quite a bit slower than most, the cigar regularly tasted muted and harsh. Speeding up my puff rate predictably increased the harshness, while slowing down flirted with combustion issues and didn't make the flavors that much more engaging. Having smoked some other Martiniques, this was quite surprising. I laugh every time I read that. This is the type of cigar that screams, do a Redux review. So expect one at some point in 2027. Phil?
69.
69.
This is the first time I have not been confident in this game.
Oh.
I'm still undefeated, and I could possibly lose this one, but I'm just going to stick with 81.
Wow.
Well, Alex, I got to tell you, you went the right way.
Yes.
The final score was 87.
What?
My God.
We need to get Charlie on the phone.
87. The Postana Sumatra got an 81.
We need to get him on the phone.
This cigar is sick in his mind as far as taste.
Yeah.
And it got an 87.
I should have trusted my gut because as soon as it started going sideways, I was like, oh, let's just give it a 90 like,
Right.
for fun.
Oh, Charlie,
Where are my buttons?
This is ludicrous.
you get no buttons. You know what? I actually think it's set up there. We just didn't turn it on.
Undefeated. Undefeated.
That's messed up, man.
Okay, do you have any events or know where you're going to be in the upcoming week or so you want to plug?
Yes, so August 26th, we're going to be in St. Pete, Estate Cigars for Besa Cigar event.
Hey.
6 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
It's going to be a Wednesday. So if you're in the St. Pete area, or if you're in the Tampa Bay area, come see us at Estate Cigars and Social, August 26th, 6 to 8 p.m.
Perfect. All right, Phil, anything from you?
That cigar should definitely not got that score. But no, that's all I got.
All right. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
On the fly, dude. We called you 45 minutes ago, and you're like, yeah, I'll be right there.
Legitimately. And then Phil was getting mad that I wasn't coming
fast enough. Dude,
Happens.
You're clutch, man. And you delivered, so I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all your hard work and all the things you do in the industry.
Thank you. Likewise.
And I appreciate the fact that you let me break your balls and don't get butt hurt.
Someone's got to.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. That's it. Hey, you got to give me a second when I do the boop. You can't just turn it right off. You got to have the boop.
Okay.
All right? All right, thanks, everybody. Bye. Boop.
One.